Imagine death not as a fearful cessation but as a portal into the unknown, something that marks a transformation rather than an ending. Sadhguru, in Death, an Inside Story, takes us on an exploration that defies conventional dread, bringing readers to understand death as an inevitable, natural, and even enriching part of life. His approach, steeped in ancient Indian wisdom yet made accessible for modern readers, seeks to dismantle fears and foster acceptance of life's impermanence. The essence, 80/20, understanding death as a process. Sadhguru presents death not as an abrupt halt but as a process with its own rhythm and intricacies. This process, which he calls Mahasamadhi, when one consciously leaves the body, can be peaceful and even beautiful if approached with awareness. By reframing death, Sadhguru invites readers to rethink their assumptions and fears around the end of life. The role of karma and life cycles. Central to Sadhguru's explanation is the concept of karma and the cycles of life that shape an individual's experience in the world. He emphasizes that karma, far from being punitive, is simply a mechanism of memory that influences a person's tendencies, choices, and, ultimately, the nature of their departure from life. The mechanics of rebirth. Sadhguru delves into the cycles of rebirth and the choices a soul has to either continue its journey on earth or progress to other realms. These perspectives offer readers a holistic view of life beyond the physical body, promoting the idea that death is not an end but rather a transition. Facing death consciously. Sadhguru advocates for the idea of facing death consciously, stressing that one's mindset at the time of passing can shape their experience. This perspective underscores the value of mental preparedness and spiritual grounding, which can transform death from a feared event into a culminating moment of peace and acceptance. The importance of rituals. In many cultures, death rituals hold deep significance. Sadhguru explains these rituals as means to assist the soul in its journey, helping both the living and the departed achieve closure. This adds an extra layer to understanding why and how such practices serve practical and spiritual roles. The action plan. Cultivate awareness of mortality. Begin by consciously acknowledging the fact of mortality, not to induce fear but to deepen appreciation for life. Practice meditations or reflections on life's impermanence to align with Sadhguru's teachings of embracing death as a natural part of existence. Reflect on your karma and choices. Examine the patterns in your life that contribute to your karma. This reflection can lead to greater self-awareness and a more intentional approach to living, helping prepare for a conscious end to life. Explore spiritual practices. Engage in practices like meditation or yoga, which Sadhguru suggests can bring clarity and inner peace. These practices build the mental fortitude and spiritual understanding necessary to face death with calmness. Understand and respect rituals. Gain insight into cultural or spiritual rituals related to death, recognizing how these rituals can benefit those left behind. By understanding these practices, one can find meaningful ways to honor and commemorate loved ones. Death as a process. Sadhguru describes death as a process that unfolds gradually rather than a sudden cut-off. He distinguishes between the clinical and spiritual understanding of death, explaining that even when the physical body ceases to function, certain layers of the body's energy continue to exist for a time. These subtle energy bodies, or what Sadhguru refers to as the pranic, life force, bodies, dissipate at different rates depending on how consciously the individual lived and departed. In Eastern traditions, there is an understanding that one can die consciously, which requires preparation and inner work. Sadhguru teaches that by learning to disengage from our attachments, especially to the physical body, we can approach death as a peaceful release. This conscious approach allows an individual to experience a kind of grace in their final moments, avoiding the confusion and fear that often accompanies unconscious death. Karma and its influence on life and death. Karma, as Sadhguru explains, is not a system of reward or punishment but a memory bank of actions and tendencies accumulated over lifetimes. This repository shapes how one lives, reacts, and eventually approaches death. Karma defines not only the circumstances of one's life but also the way one exits this life. For instance, someone with deeply embedded fears might struggle at the time of death, as their karmic tendencies hold them back from peacefully letting go. The dissolution of karma is an essential part of Sadhguru's teachings on liberation. According to him, spiritual practices like meditation, yoga, and mindful living can help dissolve accumulated karma, allowing one to approach life and death without the baggage of past actions. By addressing karma consciously, one can reduce the pull of the cycles of birth and rebirth, potentially achieving what is known in yogic terms as mukti or liberation. Rebirth and the cycle of existence. Sadhguru elaborates on the concept of rebirth as a continuation of the soul's journey, tied deeply to the individual's karma and consciousness level. When a person dies, the residual life energy, influenced by their karma, seeks a new physical form. This process isn't random but is shaped by the karmic memory, influencing everything from a person's next physical form to the circumstances they will face. Interestingly, Sadhguru emphasizes that while most souls automatically enter the cycle of rebirth, those who achieve a certain level of spiritual mastery can choose whether to return or move on to subtler realms. This choice isn't made out of desire but from a state of freedom, as they are no longer compelled by karmic cycles. For many, understanding this cycle can provide comfort in viewing death as a transitional state rather than a final end. Facing death consciously, a pathway to peace. Sadhguru offers a unique perspective on dying consciously, a practice that can be cultivated through spiritual awareness. Conscious dying doesn't necessarily mean knowing the exact time of one's death, but rather being mentally and spiritually prepared. This preparedness allows one to face death with acceptance, bypassing the common reactions of fear and regret. To approach death consciously, he recommends consistent spiritual practices, which foster a deep sense of inner peace and detachment from the physical body. By practicing inner awareness, one learns to perceive life's events, including death, as part of a natural flow rather than as abrupt endings or losses. Conscious dying, therefore, is seen as a culmination of a life lived with awareness and a final act of grace. Rituals, their purpose and power. Rituals surrounding death are often dismissed as superstitions in modern times. However, Sadhguru emphasizes that many ancient cultures, especially in India, designed these rituals with a specific purpose, to support both the soul's journey and the grieving process of those left behind. Rituals help to ease the transition for the departed soul by creating a sense of closure, while also offering comfort to the family and community. Sadhguru delves into specifics, explaining that certain chants, mantras, and ceremonies are intended to guide the soul away from lingering attachments, aiding its journey forward. He also advises that loved ones refrain from intense displays of grief immediately after death, as this could emotionally entangle the soul, delaying its journey. By respecting the purpose behind these rituals, we create a peaceful passage for the departed and a sense of emotional healing for those who remain. Practical application of Sadhguru's teachings on death. Daily reflection on mortality. Sadhguru suggests taking a few moments each day to reflect on mortality, not to dwell in fear but to cultivate a greater appreciation for life. This practice can be as simple as a brief meditation on impermanence, helping one live with more awareness and gratitude. Engage in karmic cleansing. Regularly engaging in self-reflection and spiritual practices can assist in releasing past karmic influences. For example, practicing meditation or yoga can help break negative patterns, reduce fears, and foster equanimity, all of which contribute to a peaceful approach to death. Observe rituals with understanding. If one is part of a tradition with rituals around death, participating with awareness can make these moments deeply meaningful. Understanding their purpose can help foster closure and provide an anchor during difficult times, allowing both the living and the dead to find peace. Prioritize inner growth over outer achievements. Sadhguru emphasizes that life's ultimate journey is inward. By focusing on inner growth, we develop resilience and prepare ourselves for any eventuality, including death. This shift in focus from material success to spiritual well-being can have a profound impact on how one lives and ultimately dies. The role of life energies in death. An inside story, Sadhguru introduces the concept of prana, or life energy, which sustains the physical body. He describes prana as an interconnected web of energies that both fuels our physical existence and connects us to subtler planes of being. According to Yogic philosophy, the body is composed of 5 main types of prana, each governing different aspects of physical and mental function. Prana, upward moving energy, governs inhalation and the intake of life. Apana, downward moving energy, manages elimination and grounding aspects. Samana, balancing energy, located in the core, it aids in digestion and assimilation. Udana, upward moving energy, facilitates speech, self-expression, and intellectual capabilities. Vyana, circulating energy, distributes energy throughout the body, enhancing connectivity. Sadhguru emphasizes that, at the time of death, these pranas do not leave the body all at once, they dissipate gradually. The manner in which they exit determines the experience of dying and can affect one's spiritual journey after death. For instance, a peaceful life with balanced prana facilitates an easy and graceful transition, while a life filled with intense desires and attachments can lead to a more turbulent process. In yogic practice, maintaining balanced prana is crucial. Techniques like pranayama, breathing exercises, help regulate these energies, creating harmony within and preparing one for an eventual conscious departure from the body. Yogic practices for preparing the mind. Sadhguru stresses the importance of specific yogic practices for preparing the mind to face death with calmness and awareness. These practices cultivate mental resilience and clarity, helping individuals detach from physical limitations and enter a state of peaceful acceptance. Key practices he highlights include Shambhavi Mahamudra Kriya. This meditation technique, taught by Sadhguru, involves controlled breathing and focused awareness to activate the body's energy centers, or chakras. Practicing Shambhavi helps in maintaining mental clarity, emotional stability, and a deeper connection with one's inner self. With consistent practice, it enables one to experience life beyond the confines of the body and mind, making the concept of death less daunting. Inner engineering. This foundational program includes a set of practices designed to align the mind, body, and emotions, helping individuals approach life with balance and openness. Inner engineering emphasizes observing the transient nature of life and cultivating a state of joy that is not dependent on external factors. By doing so, practitioners become less fearful of losing the physical body and more receptive to the idea of life's continuity beyond it. Bhuta Shuddhi, elemental purification. In Yogic philosophy, the human body is composed of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. Bhuta Shuddhi is a ritual that cleanses these elements within oneself, bringing the body and mind to a state of harmony. This practice not only enhances physical and mental well-being but also prepares one to gracefully release these elements back to nature at the time of death. These practices, rooted in ancient yogic science, prepare individuals for a conscious death by fostering detachment from the physical body, reducing emotional baggage, and balancing the life energies. Practicing them regularly instills a sense of inner peace and resilience, allowing one to face death with clarity and acceptance. Comparative spiritual perspectives on death. Sadhguru's approach aligns with other spiritual traditions in certain respects, yet it stands apart in its practicality and emphasis on conscious awareness. Here's a comparison with other well-known spiritual perspectives. Buddhist view on impermanence and rebirth. Buddhism similarly stresses the transient nature of life and the importance of preparing the mind for death. The Tibetan Book of the Dead offers guidance for navigating the afterlife, emphasizing practices to cultivate a clear, undisturbed mind at the time of death. While both Sadhguru and Buddhist teachings agree on reincarnation and karma, Sadhguru's emphasis is more on the proactive cultivation of energy and balance through yogic techniques. Christian perspective on eternal life and acceptance. In Christianity, death is seen as a passage to eternal life, with an emphasis on faith in a higher power rather than detailed practices for preparing oneself. The focus is on living a virtuous life and accepting God's will. Sadhguru's teachings, on the other hand, emphasize self-mastery and taking responsibility for one's karma, offering specific practices to approach death consciously, which differs from the Christian approach of surrender and divine trust. Islamic view of the soul and afterlife. Islam teaches that the soul's journey continues after death, with a focus on moral accountability and life after death as a reward or punishment based on earthly actions. The Islamic perspective views life and death as part of divine will, encouraging believers to live in faith. While both Sadhguru's and Islamic views share the belief in a continued existence of the soul, Sadhguru's approach is less about divine judgment and more about self-initiated spiritual growth. Hindu philosophical roots. In Sadhguru's teachings. Sadhguru's perspectives are rooted in Hindu beliefs, particularly the concepts of karma, reincarnation, and moksha, liberation. However, Sadhguru's approach is distinctively pragmatic, focusing on how one can actively shape their experience of death through inner practices. Traditional Hinduism emphasizes ritualistic worship and devotion to deities, whereas Sadhguru focuses on self-awareness, energy management, and conscious detachment. Embracing death as an integral part of life. Through his teachings, Sadhguru reiterates that true mastery of life involves a clear understanding and acceptance of death. Rather than viewing death as a separate or morbid subject, he encourages integrating the awareness of death into daily life. By practicing the suggested yogic techniques and cultivating mental clarity, one can embrace life with openness, free from the fear of death's inevitability. In essence, Sadhguru's teachings serve as a bridge between esoteric spirituality and practical living, helping individuals approach death with dignity, grace, and a profound sense of liberation. He emphasizes that by mastering the art of living, one also masters the art of dying, transforming death from a feared unknown into a graceful culmination of life's journey.